Michelle Obama now has a little podcast for herself, and it's like just bad. Like everything about it is just bad. I'm like, how did this woman ever, like, what? Again, like, maybe just try and go off into the sunset and actually try and repair whatever's going on in your marriage, because clearly the marriage is not going so well. No. Now we have new proof, like this is completely on the skids. I actually think that they're probably going to wind up divorced somehow, some way. I mean, maybe financially it's too complicated for them, but listen to what she said. It's like weird. Jesse Waters picked up on this. Michelle is moving on. She's moving on, at least mentally in her head, and she's got someone that she's sort of picked out. A young guy, a billionaire guy, the Airbnb guy. Can't make it up.
That's Brian Chesky, Airbnb CEO, tech billionaire. He's got a spare room, and Michelle's mentally moving in.
I have to say, Brian, if I'm a single girl out there and I find out that Brian Chesky is single and I can stay in his house,
there she
have
goes.
you ever?
There you go. Right to the relationship, but Brian, you don't have to be feel pressured.
No, but we've never talked about this.
He just got here.
Have you ever?
Her and her husband have tried to set me up before, so
yeah.
What is that? Like seriously, what is that? Is she trying to come across as somehow a hot lady that can like get a younger guy. I don't know. I just think their marriage is over. I think they are completely done. She's moved on to this podcast with her brother. It meanders a lot. And she's also working on a dating show for like people her age. Obama, Barack. I think she's giving you a hint. I really do. Here's the new Netflix show coming out.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Obama, and I'm an executive producer for Later Daters. It's a fun new dating show from Higher Ground on Netflix. Now, I believe that all of us deserve love and a chance at finding happiness, no matter how old we are. No one has missed the boat. It just hasn't shown up. And Later Daters follows a group of adults over the age of 50 as they work with a dating coach to find their perfect match. You can stream it now on Netflix. So I hope you'll check it out this holiday season and let me know what you think.
Later Daters. Okay, Michelle, it's all tailored right for you. You can get your own dating coach and move on from Barack. I don't actually think that show has actually made it to air. I think that was like a promo, but then it never actually happened. So now she just goes on and laments about her love life. Of course, apparently Barry has moved on. And interestingly, to a woman, kind of a woman who's, I'm just going to say, like, she's like, I realize she's older now, but she's like way out of his league, I'm talking about Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston, who apparently had to go on her friend Jimmy Kimmel's show to actually deny the rumors that she and Barack were, a hot and heavy item.
A magazine that came out a couple of weeks ago, In Touch.
Okay, so this is really hard to hear, so I'm just going to sort of narrate for you. This is the In Touch magazine. They wrote the truth about Jen and Barack, and she's sitting there going, I can't believe this. Of all the things like your PR person calls you about to find out that you're having some kind of an affair with Barack Obama, give me a break. Like, now I've heard it all. There's no way. I actually know Michelle better than I know Barack.
And then it's that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say I find it hard to be true only because I'm not so sure he's into her, and I can't imagine why she'd be into him. But I do think that Michelle is looking around because, she's a black woman, and as a black woman, she just hasn't been able to find her voice until now.
We don't articulate as Black women our pain because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission to do that.
And does anyone care?
Yeah, there's that.
Will they care?
If we knew, I think we would care. If we knew.
Mm-hmm.
If we knew.
Or, yeah, and we have to ask ourselves, the men in our lives is, why wait to be asked? You know, it seems like what we go through is pretty obvious. I mean, maybe we're not complaining, but we're actually living life out loud, you know? You know.
You know, I'm really just lusting after that. What's his name? I wanted to call him Barry. What's his name?
That's Brian Chesky, Airbnb CEO, tech.
Okay, all right, Brian Chesky. All right, that's who she's after right now. Because, you know, as a Black woman, we don't express our pain enough. We just kind of roll with it. We kind of take it. And so we need to be different. Oh, and this is why I decided to miss the inauguration. She hasn't filled us in on why she decided to miss Jimmy Carter's funeral. But apparently this is the whole reason behind her not showing up at the inauguration, because she needs to prioritize herself. Me.
And so practicing no in a very different way intentionally. But then this is what makes it hard, because, you know, my decision to skip the inauguration, you know, what people don't realize, or my decision.
Michelle, you know, that has some music in it. So we want to be careful with the copyright issue for all our friends here in the music world. She went on to say that she decided to miss that because, you know what, she just didn't feel like it. And she needed to prioritize herself. And, you know, as a Black woman, she's not prioritizing herself. And so things need to change, blah, 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 blah. And that's how she gets to the decision to actually skip the inauguration for the 47th president of the United States of America. I mean, give me a break. Come on. She's just such an unbelievably selfish person who clearly doesn't think that she has to do squat. Like, I mean, she's a lazy lady who doesn't think she actually has to play a role, given that she is an important part of history. I mean, her husband was the first Black president of the United States of America. By the way, the next time somebody thinks that, you know, the U.S. is a racist country, I'm sorry. You know, and granted, I get it. There are pockets of it, but hey, we elected Barack Obama twice. And she was part of that history. She is part of that history. She's forever part of that history. So to ignore any kind of your duties as first lady, like, that's not cool. Just because you don't feel like doing it and you feel like as a Black woman, you just had to like go along the whole way. I'm sorry, Michelle. You know what? We're just over it. We're all over it. You know what? I don't feel like having to make dinner for my kids tonight, but guess what? I got 3 kids and I make them dinner. Okay? Like, there's just the reality of life. You were the first lady of the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, for 8 years. You have a certain responsibility. 1, to show up at Jimmy Carter's funeral. You don't say you're on an extended vacation, for goodness sakes. And 2, to go to the inauguration. Come on. It's not that hard. But apparently for this lady, my God. How did they get elected, you guys? Really? How? Tell me. I want to know. Also, nobody's watching that show. Like, the ratings are absolutely miserable. Once again, another podcast bites the dust. She has something in common with that Meghan Markle, who poor Harry really never should have gotten involved in. I'll tell you, you know, the one thing you can control, a little bit of life advice here, is who you marry. Right? Like, you can't control who your family is. You know, you're born into this world, however it may be. And some of us get lucky and some of us not so lucky. But the one thing you actually can have a say in is who your spouse is. And so it's a really important decision. Really, really important decision, because it has such a massive effect on the rest of your life. And you look at poor Prince Harry, and let's just say he made the wrong decision. Oh, we have Memorial Day weekend coming up. You know, I'm still going to be here on the channel with a lot of content coming your way. I may even be live again on Monday, but I just want to thank all our veterans and all the amazing, amazing people that have sacrificed their lives to give us this opportunity that we have to be here as free Americans today. So my heart goes out to all of them. My father's a veteran. My father-in-law, God rest his soul, was a veteran. And look, if it weren't for people like that, people willing to give their lives for us, we wouldn't be what we are. So remember that. When the left tries to go all woke and somehow disrespect and hate on America and hate on our great values, Remember who you are, who we are collectively, together as a nation. And have an enjoyable, wonderful, memorable Memorial Day weekend. I'll see you right back here live on Monday.